Hi there, Sioui. How's it going?
Oh, hey, Griffiths.
Nice to see you. How have you been?
Nice to see you too.
How have you been?
Good.
Good, awesome. I happen to have read your essay on Foundation of Ethics, and I thought it was quite interesting.
Thank you, I'm flattered. You know, we might disagree on a couple things.
Well, you know, Canada's identity, a subject we've both thoroughly studied, and I have a few bullets to shoot on that.
Perfect. We should go sit down and talk about it.
Let's do just that. Now let's begin. I strongly believe that Canadian history is forgotten, and that shared traditions are slipping away from the people's everyday lives. What dominates our countries are citizens' close relationships with their respectful cultures, religions, or languages. This is what makes Canada's open-armed and accepting identity a dangerous affirmation. We are accepting too many identities at once.
How do you support this?
Well, you see, in my essay, I refer to Martin's famous hotel metaphor, and that stresses on how Canadians aspire to be free and respected in their own ways of being. In a nation where no distinct identity might shine through these differences, it alarms me that people might not realize the seriousness of a nation slowly dividing.
Yeah, you're right, Griffiths. Canada holds a diverse population. However, I must oppose your opinion by saying that the sense of freedom felt by individuals living and expressing their culture is extremely important. Speaking for the Amérindian people, freedom is tied to their core values. They protect and cherish this wonderful thing they call a possession. As a society, they seek to promote individual freedom when encountering other societies, such as the Europeans, who threaten their spiritual and civilized embodiment. They respect other societies, functioning freely in accordance to their own beliefs. All in all, freedom should be a shared understanding. The beauty of Canada, as I believe, in allowing minorities to remain loyal and connected to their communities, highly reflects the positive in freedom.
Sioui, listen. If you add up all the cultures and religions residing in this country, you can see that it is very difficult to point out a single historical memory they all share. What Canada is lacking is exactly that. Forget about granting freedom to every citizen. Think about the consequences of having citizens creating their own definition of being a Canadian. In 2005, actually, a survey from the Dominion Institute found that freedom is less of importance to the people. They do not highly consider it being a value defining Canada. We need to reaffirm our core values so that everyone rests on the same page. One page that should read a clear story of how Canada came to be the great country that its citizens, or hotel tenants, call home.
Actually, Native people have a significant role in Canada's history, and if you would consider their traditional values by expanding your knowledge on who the people are before also learning about their archives, you might find the uncertainty and incomprehension of this country's establishment evaporate. What is at issue here is cross-cultural communication.
Well, of course it's an issue. We further ourselves by neglecting the learning from civic knowledge, political successes, and institutions that help root our democracy. If we do not change the reality of committed individuals always returning to their roots, how can a shared national vision even exist as a possibility? All these cultures in Canada can't find a consensus on what it means to be Canadian. And again, I believe we should push towards a more unified population in terms of shared principles, instead of tolerating a divided population. If you ask me, communities isolate themselves and care more about their own community's survival rather than the one of the nation.
It is not the increase of multiculturalism that increases isolation of the people. Multiculturalism and traditions are two sides of the same coin. Understanding traditions acts in favor of reinforcing Canada's image. You want to avoid post-nationalism?
It startles me that a sense of inclusiveness is vanishing among Canadians. Not only that, they have low mastery of their own country's institution. I refuse to see this country as a collection of communities.
Well, I suggest, in this case, to scrutinize Aboriginal traditions, as they are values of the people. This will allow you to understand the beginnings of the country. Amerindians did not flee their homeland, but Europeans did. These voyagers carried bags full of Amerindian cultural values.
Perhaps a re-evaluation of understanding history is necessary, or maybe we just simply need to think a bit differently.
I cannot agree more. To engage what I call autohistory, you must first ponder on Euro-American ethnocentrism, contrasting the Amerindian belief in the Great Circle of Life. Racial superiority clashes with what the entire living world should implement: peace and quality of life for all. You say you want to go back on understanding traditions for the good sake of Canada, but for so long, the Amerindians struggled to teach and sharpen one's perception of their traditions. Being aware of original Aboriginal history and not Americanized Aboriginal history opens a more appropriate, specific, and deep-rooted perspective. In my opinion, this awareness can help you, Griffiths, finding hope in nationalism again. The incentive of pursuing common grounds amongst Canadian is absolutely great, as I also feel Canadian history needs refreshing.
Okay. We are pulled towards a different ideology. Evidently, this triggers our disapproval on many ideas. Hence why an always interesting debate takes place between us. In this case, you support the Amerindian non-evolutionist view, while I think that acknowledging our society's evolution portrays a scientific manner of understanding our flaws and qualities.
This debate can go on longer than both our books combined. Do you think we should just pause and come back later? I actually have an interview where I'm gonna talk about my Aboriginal auto history soon.
Well, excuse me. Best of luck in your academic career.